Michael Smith and Michael van Gerwen put on the most incredible leg of darts that you will ever see in the World Championship Finals. Both of them were on 9 darters and Michael van Gerwen wired his double 12 for his 9 darter. Michael Smith came up right behind him and hit his 9 darter. It's the most incredible leg of darts that you will ever see. It's not often that darts clips go viral in the mainstream media, but the clip of this leg made its rounds all over sports stations and it got a lot of publicity. Ariel Helwani is one of the people that shared this clip, and it inspired him to put up a dartboard in his studio and throw darts with some of his guests. While Michael Smith and Michael van Gerwen were in town for the US Masters in Madison Square Garden, Ariel Helwani had them both on their show for an interview, and then they threw some darts at the end of the show. Ariel Helwani, not being a dart player, was struggling with his throw, so he turned over to Michael Smith and asked him for some advice. And this is the advice Michael Smith gave to Ariel. So when Ariel was throwing his dart, he was doing a lot of aiming with the tip of his dart. He was more so looking at the tip and trying to line it up with his target as opposed to having his eyes on the target. So the first bit of advice that Michael Smith gave him was don't aim using the tip of your dart, aim by looking at your target. And once you have your target in sight, all you have to do is throw and follow through towards your target. So Michael Smith was asked to give some advice, and the first thing that he goes through is talking about having a full follow through. I talk about having a full follow through on this channel all the time. Every single sport that involves throwing, it's so important that you have a full follow through after your throw. So for darts, it's no different. Now I've had plenty of people come on my channel and tell me that a follow through is not important, then they name 2 or 3 dart players that don't have a full follow through and use that for reason as to why you don't have to follow through. Now here's the thing, yes, there are dart players out there that do not have a full follow through that are great dart players, but exceptions do not make the rule. They are exceptions to the rule, and the rule is that you have to have a full follow through. So now there's a few different things that I like to work on to have a full follow through, so we're gonna talk about those. So the first drill that I like to do to help me with my follow through is that I just have the conscious decision that I'm gonna have a full extension of my arm on my throw. Now when I do this, I'm not aiming at anything in particular. Of course, I just kind of generally aim for the middle of the board so the dart doesn't fly off and hit the wall or anything. But I don't care about my targets in this drill, and you shouldn't either. All we're gonna focus on is just making sure that we're fully extending. So I'm gonna come up here, I'm not aiming at anything, I'm gonna bring my dart up, and I'm just gonna make this conscious decision to follow all the way through, and I'm actually gonna hold that pose for a little bit to make sure that I feel comfortable having that full follow through. So I'm gonna bring my second dart up, do the same thing. I'm having a full follow through, a full extension of my arm. I'm gonna hold that pose. And I'm gonna do the same thing again here with my third dart, having that full follow through and full extension of my arm. So when I'm struggling with my follow through, that is the first drill I will put myself through, is just have the conscious decision to make sure that I'm having a full follow through. The second thing I like to do from there, that now we're gonna start getting some aiming involved, is that I like to point at my target on my follow through. And there's 2 reasons I like to do this. You're not gonna be able to stop your follow through and point at your target at the same time. If you're gonna point at your target, it's going to force you to follow all the way through to point at it. Another reason I like doing this is just because it just helps you with your accuracy. Your follow through is always in the direction towards your target. So if you point at your target, that's exactly where you want your dart to go. So last drill, we weren't aiming, but on this one we are. So I'm gonna aim right at that bullseye. And when I throw, I'm gonna make sure that I point at it on my follow through. I'm pointing at that bullseye on my follow through. I'm gonna do the same thing with my second dart. I'm pointing at that bullseye, bring up my third, and now I'm pointing at that bullseye. Now once again, this is one of those things, I've had plenty of people comment on my videos to not point at your target when you throw because none of the pros do it. And I argue that that is not the case at all. I think most dart players do point at their target when they go, but they just have such a fluid motion you don't see them actually stand there and point at it. And also I always like to say, to each your own. If you don't like pointing at your target on your follow through, if that's not comfortable for you, then don't do it. You don't have to point at it, but it's worth giving a shot and seeing if it works for you. So those are the 2 main things that I like to do to help me with my follow through. The first thing is I just have the conscious decision to follow through without aiming. Then from there, I will make sure I'm pointing at my target because that'll make sure I have a full follow through. And the second thing I like to do is sometimes it's nice to take one step back from the throw line because that's going to force you to throw your dart harder, which naturally you're going to need to get more oomph behind your throw, which will make you follow all the way through. So right now I'm one step backward from the line, I'm way out of the camera shot, but throwing from back here, it's going to force me to have a full follow through. So I'm all the way back here. And just to get my dart to the target, I have to make sure I'm having a full follow through. Same thing. I'm throwing forward, I'm forcing myself to have a full follow through because I need that extra strength to get my dart to the board. And same thing with my third dart there. All right guys, so there you have it. Michael Smith's advice to get better at darts is to make sure that you're having a full follow through towards your target. And we covered a few different things in here that can help you do that. Thank you so much for watching guys. If you're new, please make sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. Drop the video a thumbs up. Some videos should have popped up somewhere over here. Click one, click them both. Check out BullshotDarts.com for some Bullshot apparel. And then we have the official Bullshot Darts jersey over at magicwear.com. Links for those will be down below. All right, guys, I'll see you all in the next video and shoot well.